Some motorcycle mods are more than just reckless, they're outright deadly. Deadly Motorcycle Mods Exposed digs into the trends that turn bikes into crash magnets, like neon underglow that's landed over 500 riders with tickets in Phoenix alone, and straight pipe exhausts pumping out 120 decibels, enough to cause permanent hearing damage in just minutes. The stats are real, but the real danger is what no influencer tells you. The same mods going viral online can destroy your bike, your body, and your future. So why do so many riders risk everything for style points? The answer starts with the first hazard almost every new rider underestimates. Neon underglow lighting exploded in popularity, thanks to viral bike builds and late-night ride videos. Riders bolt strips of colored LED lights under their frames, chasing that electric, futuristic look. But here is the reality check. Those glowing mods are not just illegal in most states, they are a magnet for disaster. Out of 50 states, 41 banned certain underglow colors outright, especially blue and red, because they mimic emergency vehicles. The crackdown is not just talk. In Phoenix, police issued over 500 citations last year alone, targeting bikes lit up like rolling arcades. But tickets are just the beginning. Researchers have measured the effect of flashy lighting on driver attention. It takes the average motorist an extra 150 milliseconds to process a bike with pulsing neon, compared to a stock one. That does not sound like much until you realize it is the difference between a near miss and a rear-end collision at highway speeds. Distracted drivers fixate on the light show, not the moving motorcycle, and that split-second delay stacks the odds against you. Phoenix's Operation Nightshade did not just hand out fines, they tracked crash data. After a year of enforcement, nighttime rear-end accidents involving motorcycles dropped by 12%. That is a real-world dent in the accident rate, all traced to a single mod. The myth says underglow makes you stand out and stay safe. The facts say it makes you a target, both for cops and for distracted drivers. The next time you see a bike glowing in traffic, remember, the flashier the lights, the higher the risk. Loud pipes, straight pipes. Call them what you want, every rider knows the sound. Some claim it's about safety, but here's the brutal truth. Those open exhausts are torching your hearing long before they save your skin. The numbers don't lie. Most aftermarket pipes push out between 110 and 120 decibels. For reference, a running chainsaw clocks in at about 110. The CDC and NIOSH both say anything over 85 decibels starts damaging your hearing with regular exposure. At 120 decibels, you can do permanent harm in less than 15 minutes. That's not an opinion, that's medical fact. Forget the myth that loud pipes save lives. Study after study shows zero evidence that noise alone prevents crashes. What does happen? Riders end up with ringing ears, muffled sound, and eventually, irreversible hearing loss. Just ask Throttle King, a YouTube influencer who built his brand around straight pipe builds. After years of riding and filming with no baffles, doctors diagnosed him with 60% hearing loss. He posted a public apology to his fans, admitting he'd traded his hearing for internet clout. Thousands of comments poured in, many from riders who said they'd made the same mistake. Here's the kicker. Once your hearing is gone, it's gone for good. Tinnitus, permanent ringing, and the slow fade of every conversation. That's the real legacy of the loud pipe crowd. So if you think cranking up your exhaust is just about style or attention, remember what it's actually costing you. Your ears aren't replaceable. Your hearing won't grow back. Cheap eBay parts, knockoff brake levers, fake alloy wheels, mystery metal pegs. If you ride, you've seen the ads. Slick packaging, bold claims, a price tag that looks too good to be true. Here's the reality. Every year, federal agents seize tens of thousands of counterfeit motorcycle components at U.S. ports. In 2021 alone, Customs intercepted over 15,000 fake brake parts headed for American riders. That's just what got caught. The danger isn't just about shoddy looks. It's about failure. Instant, catastrophic, no-warning failure. Real riders have posted the aftermath. Wish I'd listened. My $50 eBay brake lever snapped on the highway. 1 second you're squeezing for a routine stop, the next you're gripping air as the lever shears off at the pivot. Mechanics see these disasters weekly. The shop floor is littered with broken levers, bent wheels, and pegs that collapse under normal use. For every part that fails in the shop, there's another that fails at 70 miles per hour. Counterfeiters are getting smarter. They slap on fake DOT or ECE certification stickers, mimicking the look of legit parts. But these fakes never see real lab testing. They're made from low-grade alloys, rushed through unregulated factories, and shipped in bulk to online sellers who disappear after the sale. The price difference? A genuine lever might run $120. The knockoff sells for $19.99, shipping included. That's the cost of skipping quality control, engineering, and safety standards, until the bill comes due in the ER. Insurance companies are catching on. Claims linked to unverified parts are flagged, sometimes denied outright. Mechanics warn, we see mods done for looks almost always backfire, either in the shop or the ER. Scroll any rider forum and you'll find regret posts and horror stories. The next time you're tempted by a bargain bin lever or eBay brake kit, remember, saving $50 isn't worth betting your life. Race tires on the street? It sounds like the ultimate flex. Track rubber on your daily ride, promising MotoGP grip at every stoplight. But here is what the hype merchants will not tell you. Race compounds are engineered for one thing: maximum stick at searing hot temperatures, the kind you only reach after a dozen hard laps on a closed circuit. On public roads, even after a spirited ride, those tires are barely lukewarm. Drop the temperature below 50 degrees Fahrenheit, and grip plummets by over a third. That is not internet rumor. That is straight from tire engineers and cold friction testing. Think about what that means in real-world terms. The tire that felt gummy in your garage turns rock hard on a chilly morning commute. Hit a painted crosswalk, a wet leaf, or an emergency swerve, and you are skating on ice. Track slicks do not just lose grip, they lose it suddenly, with almost no warning. Riders talk about the wooden feel, the way the front end washes out at half the speed you would expect. Hospital bills and insurance adjusters know the pattern by heart. Here's the number that really matters. Progressive Insurance circulated an internal memo warning of significantly elevated claim frequency, up to 28% higher, on bikes fitted with race-only tires for street use. That is enough to put your premium in the penalty box, or worse, get your claim denied after a crash. Manufacturers stamp these tires not for street use for a reason. Pirelli, Bridgestone, Michelin all warn that race compounds are dangerously unpredictable on public roads, especially when cold or wet. Ignore the myth that race tires make you safer or faster on the street. The science says otherwise. If you want to stick to the pavement, run tires built for real-world riding, not for a fantasy lap time you will never chase. Ape hanger handlebars. The higher they go, the more your arms stretch, and the slower your reaction time gets. Riders chase the old-school chopper vibe, but those towering bars aren't just a style statement. They're a built-in handicap. Picture this. With your hands above shoulder height, you lose fine motor control. Blood flow drops, fingers go numb, and when it's time to grab the brake in a panic, you're already behind. In controlled brake tests, bikes with extreme ape hangers needed up to 20% more lever travel before any real stopping power kicked in. That's a fifth of your braking wasted before the pads even bite. Now add in the extra seconds it takes to reach and squeeze the lever when your arms are at full stretch. One riding instructor put it bluntly: handlebar swaps that ignore basic ergonomics double your crash risk, especially for new riders. In an emergency, that delay can mean the difference between a close call and a trip to the trauma ward. The myth says ape hangers make you stand out. The facts say they slow you down, numb your grip, and double the odds you won't react in time. When it comes to control, posture isn't just about comfort, it's about survival. Stretched swing arms. The drag race crowd swears by them, but here's what happens when you bolt one onto a street bike. A stock sport bike is built to carve corners and swerve out of trouble. Quick, precise, responsive. Stretch that swing arm 6 inches, and you just traded agility for straight line looks. The numbers are brutal, turning radius jumps by 18%. In emergency swerve tests, it takes 22% more space to dodge a hazard compared to a stock setup. That's the difference between missing a car door and hitting it square at 40 miles per hour. Houston, 2019. A rider on a stretched GSX-R enters a downtown curve at city speeds. Mid-corner, a patch of gravel sends the rear tire sliding. On a normal bike, a quick counter steer might save it, but the extended wheelbase refuses to cooperate. The rider can't correct in time, slides across the double yellow, right into traffic. The crash reconstruction was clear. Loss of control, directly caused by the swing arm mod. That wasn't just a bad day, it was a fatal one. Mechanics see the aftermath every week. We see more wrecked bikes from stretched swing arms than any other mod, says one Houston shop owner. Most of those bikes never see a drag strip. They just end up in the shop, or worse, the scrapyard. If you're thinking about stretching your swing arm for style points, remember, on the street, that extra length could be the last mistake you ever make. Lowering kits promise a quick fix, an easy way to plant both feet flat at a stop or grab that slammed stance for Instagram. But here's the reality. Most of these kits chop out up to 40% of your bike's original suspension travel. That means less cushion for every bump, pothole, or emergency swerve. When the road gets rough, your shocks bottom out faster, transferring every jolt straight to the frame and to you. The numbers do not lie. In controlled tests, bikes with cheap lowering kits showed unpredictable handling, especially in corners or during sudden stops. Riders talk about a floaty, unstable feel and a nasty habit of kicking sideways in a panic. Mechanics see the aftermath: bent rims, cracked subframes, and shredded tires, all from bottoming out hard. But the fallout is not just physical. In the year 2020, the Nichols versus Apex suspension case made headlines after a rider sued an aftermarket kit maker, blaming a violent crash on a poorly designed lowering kit. The civil settlement sent a message: cut corners on safety, and you are not just risking your own skin. You could be dragging a manufacturer into court. So before you drop your ride for looks, remember, less travel means less forgiveness. When the suspension runs out, so do your options. Rear fender deletes look slick on Instagram builds, but the trouble starts the first time you hit rain or a muddy road. Fenders aren't just for style. They're the only thing standing between your wiring harness and a direct blast of water, grit, and road salt. Strip them off, and you're inviting short circuits, corroded connectors, and blown fuses. Shops like Shopgirl Moto have built a whole TikTok series around the fallout, custom bikes rolling in with dead lights, glitchy sensors, and mystery electrical gremlins. Mechanics say it's not rare, it's routine. Some report seeing double the wiring repairs on fenderless bikes, especially after a wet weekend. The real kicker? Manufacturers don't play around. If a dealer spots exposed or rerouted wiring, your warranty claim is headed straight for the shredder. Riders post receipts, denied coverage for fried electronics, all because the factory protection was tossed for a cleaner look. The cost? Hundreds in diagnostics, new harnesses, and hours of labor, all out of pocket. That minimalist vibe can turn into a major headache the moment the weather turns or the dealer takes a closer look. Plug-and-play fuel chips are sold as the easiest way to squeeze out extra horsepower. Just clip it in, and suddenly your bike is race-tuned, or so the ads claim. Here's the problem. Most of these miracle boxes don't actually tune anything. They just trick your sensors, pushing the engine to run dangerously lean. That means less fuel, more air, and a combustion chamber that's cooking hotter than the factory ever intended. Mechanics see the fallout every month: burnt valves, melted pistons, and, in the worst cases, engine fires that start under the seat or at the exhaust. Burnt engine cases show up on shop benches and rider forums, usually with a caption like, "Thought this chip was safe, now I need a new bike." The warranty? Forget it. Manufacturers put it in black and white. Any unauthorized fuel mod voids your coverage on the spot. Insurers do the same. If a fire or engine failure traces back to a chip, your claim is toast. One technician summed it up: most of these chips do nothing but wreck engines and get riders stranded. If you want more power, pay for a real tune. If you want a bonfire, keep buying eBay magic boxes. Novelty helmets, beanie lids, half shells, anything sold as not for street use, are everywhere on group rides and social media feeds. They look cool, feel light, and promise freedom from helmet hair. But here's the reality. Those helmets offer almost zero protection when things go wrong. Trauma centers in Florida tracked over 200 skull fractures in just 6 years, with nearly every case tied to riders wearing novelty lids. The numbers do not stop there. CDC studies show a DOT-rated helmet cuts your chance of a serious head injury by 69%. Swap that for a fashion helmet, and you are rolling the dice with your life. ER nurses call these helmets donor buckets because they see what happens after a crash. One nurse put it bluntly: "We rarely see skull fractures with real helmets. With novelty lids, the injuries are as bad as no helmet at all." Insurance companies know the score too. Get caught in a crash with a fake lid, and your claim might go straight in the trash. Riders who survive often say the same thing. They wore it for the look, never thinking about the hospital bill or the months of rehab that followed. When it comes to your head, style is never worth the risk. Over 15,000 counterfeit motorcycle parts were seized in a single federal operation, underscoring how widespread dangerous mods have become. This documentary traced how stretched swing arms, race tires on the street, and plug-and-play fuel chips have led to real crashes, costly repairs, and even fire risks. Facts confirmed by insurance data, government reports, and trauma center records. While some mods may look appealing online, the evidence is clear. Modifications like novelty helmets and loud pipes directly increase the chance of injury or hearing loss, as documented by CDC and ER case studies. Yet, no comprehensive database tracks the true toll of these trends, making it hard to measure every consequence. What's certain is that the allure of style and speed often comes at the cost of safety. The documented numbers and real-world outcomes make one fact undeniable. The deadliest mods are those that trade proven safety for momentary attention.